Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Victoria, and today we are talking about some possessive, protective, and obsessive heroes in romance books. I, every once in a while, love a possessive as fuck character. I think that it is so sexy to read about. It is not something, it's one of those things, I say this every time, but it's one of those things, red flag in real life, fuck yes in romance, that is just so good to see. It's so good to see when it's done really well. So I have a quite a few actually, that I've read recently within the last couple of months that I want to recommend to y'all. I do have another video like this that I did multiple months ago, so I will link it down below if you haven't seen it yet. But now I'm going to get into the books. So the first one that I had to include on this list is Sicko / Royce. His real name's Royce. His MC club name is Sicko. From Sicko by Amo Jones. This is a book that Cheyenne from That Tall Book Girl convinced me to read. I did it for a reading vlog where I read recommendations from some of my favorite booktubers. I will link it down below. But I loved this romance. This is a adopted siblings romance, or actually I think they're foster siblings. I don't know if they're officially adopted, but they're foster siblings, and they basically grew up together, and since they have grown up together, since they were little children, Royce has been super, super possessive, protective, and obsessive about the heroine, our main character. What the fuck is her name? Can you tell I'm bad with names? I never can do names. Anyone else like that? Can't do names? I can remember every detail about a book, but I can't remember the characters' names. Let me know if you're like that or if it's just me. Jade. The heroine's name is Jade, and he is so possessive of her. So this book starts with them living together. They grew up together. They're siblings. And something happens where Royce gets in trouble for beating somebody up, and that night he ditches. He leaves the house, and he does not come back for multiple years, and now he's come back. Jade is about to go to college, and she is going to college right near where he lives now, and he is part of a motorcycle club. I think he's actually the vice president, maybe, where he is, his MC club name is Sicko. This is a incredibly dark romance, so please be aware of that. Look up trigger warnings. There are so many in this book. It goes very deep into the horribly sick things that humans can do to each other, and it is just a lot, so make sure that you are aware of that before going into it. But if you love an obsessive, protective hero, Royce is your man. Oh my god, the way that he is so incredibly obsessive over Jade, it is incredibly obvious even when they're younger. Like, all of his friends know, his parents know, everyone knows. And it's like a super taboo relationship because they're freaking siblings, or adopted siblings. They're not blood related, but they are grown-ups together siblings, and everyone knows. And it is... you can't keep Royce away from Jade. It's just the way it is. And this book was amazing. I really, really loved it. Thanks, Cheyenne, for getting me to read it. If you love an obsessive hero, Royce is your man. The next one that I have to mention is really interesting, actually, because he's from a reverse harem, and that is Archer from the Madison Kate series by Tate James. I read the entire Madison Kate series, like one after the other, marathoned them. I listened to the audiobooks, and this series is nuts. It is a reverse harem series. The heroine's name is Madison Kate, and she is the, like, daughter of a very high up man in the town that they live in. The town that they live in is very overrun by gangs. There are like 3 gangs that are all like at war with each other and have their own like territories and everything. And there is a event that happens where the heroine goes to go see this underground illegal MMA fight. And it's at this abandoned amusement park. And shit goes crazy at this abandoned amusement park. Shots get fired, people die, and it's forever labeled as riot night. And the heroine on that night ends up meeting these 3 guys, and she ends up getting blamed for riot night, as she is the one that like caused it, did all things, and gets picked up by the police. So many things from evidence that these 3 guys left on her body, planted on her. And so she gets arrested, she gets blamed for riot night, all these things, and her life is like destroyed. She comes back a couple of years later to go to college in the town. She's expecting to stay with her father, and she gets to the house, and these 3 guys from riot night live in her house and are going to the same college as her, and it's nuts. And then there are so many crazy twists and turns that go on with the series, but it is a reverse harem, so she has a relationship with all 3 of them. While all of them are possessive, 2 of them are a little less, and the one that really I wanted to focus on for this video is Archer. Archer is incredibly protective and super possessive of Madison Kate, and it's so funny to see because he gets so jealous of his 2 best friends, who are the other 2 guys in the harem, and it's really funny because he's like super protective of her and possessive of her, and he's like, do not touch her, she's mine, and all of his his 2 best friends are like, fuck no, she's ours. You gotta get it straight. She's not yours, she's ours. You gotta learn to share, bro. And it's really funny because he doesn't want to, but he knows that he has to because that's what she wants, and he struggles with it so much. And it's an enemies to lovers between Madison Kate and all 3 of them actually, but mostly Madison Kate and Archer. He's the one that pisses her off the most and that she can't stand the most, and so she's trying to get back at all of them for what happened on riot night, and it's crazy. And Archer is the one that she like blames the most. And it's really, really funny. And she sometimes will like use the other 2 guys to get back at Archer, and it's great. Then the next one that I'm going to talk about is Priest and Ashley from A Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. This is another book that I read in that reading recommendations from my favorite booktubers vlog where I read Sicko. This was Jess's recommendation. I had had it on my TBR for like a million years because of Jess, and I finally read it, fucking loved it. And it's sort of a love triangle. The heroine is the pirate captain, and she has a romance with her this guy named Priest, and they are sort of estranged, and she ends up getting captured by a pirate hunter named Ashley, and she ends up having a romance with Ashley, this pirate hunter, and he and Priest actually are both so freaking possessive of her and protective, and are like, I will kill you if you hurt her kind of vibes. And it's great. This is another one that's super fucking dark. Please look up trigger warnings. Actually, all of the books, Madison Kate too, all of the books that I've said, look up trigger warnings because they're dark books. And I'm sure I would forget if I tried to list all of the trigger warnings off from these books, so please look them up. But oh my gosh, this book was crazy. It was amazing. It was so much deeper of a relationship than I had expected originally going into it. I had never read a Pam Godwin before, and the writing is phenomenal. It's beautiful. The connection between all of the characters is just insane. It is so much more than I was expecting going into it, and it's fabulous. The next one that I want to mention is on the lighter side, but is still a total possessive hero, and that is Max from Rev to the Max by Melanie Moreland. This one is a grumpy sunshine. Max owns a mechanic shop, and the heroine, whose name is, I don't remember, but she has a name that, Charlie. Her name is Charlie. He hires Charlie over the internet to come be his like admin, or like to do everything that he needs an employee to do for his mechanic shop. And he thinks that he's hiring a man, but Charlie shows up she is a woman, and he now has to work with this woman who he's incredibly attracted to. He gets super distracted working and struggles hardcore because she's gorgeous, and he becomes incredibly protective of her. The job comes with a housing, so she's supposed to stay in the garage, and he's like, he ends up like switching things around, changing his like lifestyle around to like fit her into it, and other people start to like take notice of it and sort of like make fun of him, and he's just like, he can't, his whole like life is like changed because Charlie came into it, and it's really cute. And whenever anyone comes in, tries to hit on her, anything, because she is very beautiful, Max is not having it, and he's like, absolutely not. You will not look at her, you will not talk to her, you will not touch her, she is mine. The next one is sort of cheating because I haven't finished this book yet, but I can already feel that this fits into this vibe, and that is Reese from Twisted Games by Anna Huang. I included Alex, I think is the hero's name from book 1, Twisted Love, on the last Possessive Heroes video that I did, and I'm currently reading Twisted Games, and I'm over 50% into it, so I can tell already that Reese is right up there being super protective, especially because this is a bodyguard romance. The heroine, Bridget, is the princess of a country, and Reese is hired to be her bodyguard. He is her like hired to replace her old bodyguard when her old bodyguard has to leave the position, and her old bodyguard had been there with her for like years and years and years, so they had been like basically friends. He was comforting to her, and Reese comes in. Reese is like, you're not allowed to do this because that's dangerous, you're not allowed to do this because that's dangerous, and she's like, excuse me, what the fuck? Yes, I am. And he's like, no, 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 no. I was hired to protect you. You are going to listen to me. You are going to sit right there, and you are going to be safe. And Bridget is like not having it. And their relationship is so good so far. I absolutely loving it. And Reese is definitely like, even beyond what a normal bodyguard would be, he is so protective of her and so possessive of her. And he does not want anyone else near her. There's even a scene where she's in a club where she is trying to like hook up with another guy, and she's super drunk, and he like goes over to like stop her, and the other guy is like, excuse me, I will protect her for the night, you can leave her with me, she's safe with me. And Reese is like, fuck no, she's mine, I'm taking her. And it's really good. The next one is Dante from When Heroes Fall by Gianna Darling. This is book 1 in the Anti-Heroes in Love duet. Dante is a mafioso, and the heroine Elena is a lawyer, and she has a very like black and white ideology of life. She's like, if you do bad things, you're a bad person. If you do good things, you're a good person. And Dante comes in, meets her, and blows that whole ideology out of the water, because he is this mafioso. He commits crimes and all of these things, but she is so drawn to him. He is like, she starts to fall in love with him. She's super attracted to him, and she is struggling hardcore because he's like, I might do bad things, but I do bad things for gray reasons. Life is all shades of gray. Protecting the people I care about is a good reason to do something. And Elena is like struck down. She's like, I don't know how to live my life anymore. But Dante becomes so incredibly possessive of her. He moves her into his house, and all of his like mafia underlings are all so aware of the fact that their like badass mafia don is like super protective of this girl, and it's great. Love it. Gianna Darling's writing is fantastic, so I just absolutely loved this. I haven't read book 2 yet. It is a duet, and I haven't read book 2 yet, but I really, really need to. The next one is Emerson from Praise by Sarah Kate. Emerson is part of the owners of the Salacious Players Club, and he is the heroine whose name I can't remember, obviously. He is the heroine's ex-boyfriend's dad. So the heroine needs to get her deposit check back from the apartment that she lived in with her ex-boyfriend. And her ex-boyfriend is like, my dad has it, so go, here's his address, go get it from him. She really needs this check back. She shows up at Emerson's office and is like, I'm here, and he mistakes her for being his new secretary slash submissive and is like, get down on your knees and crawl to me. And the heroine is startled and yet intrigued and decides to go with it. And when Emerson finds out that she is not there to be his submissive, and he is super drawn to her, and he offers her a job to be his regular secretary, and the heroine ends up becoming his new submissive and entering into the lifestyle of the Salacious Players Club. And Emerson is very protective of the heroine. And it's really, really funny because he starts out being like, I need to protect her because my son loved her and I need to make sure that she's okay as somebody my son loved because I don't want my son to be mad at me. And it grows into a trying really hard to not feel the ways that he feels about her because he doesn't want to hurt his son, but he can't help it. He can't help it. And the heroine, who's maybe named Jordan, that doesn't sound right though. She can't help it either, and they are so good together, but Emerson ends up becoming so possessive of her, and when they go to visit the Salacious Players Club, he is like hovering around her and being like, nobody look at her, because he doesn't want anyone to get too close to what is his. Then the next one is another one named Max, and that is Max from Last on the List by Amy Dawes. This one is a nanny romance and a single dad romance. The hero, Max, is a single father. His ex-wife is gone for the summer, so he ends up having full custody of his daughter for the whole summer. And he is a CEO, so he needs to hire a nanny to watch his daughter while he's not around. He has all of these qualifications of like what he wants this nanny to do, but the last nanny on the list of all the nannies that are being hired walks in and has the exact opposite qualifications of what he was looking for. But his daughter, Max's daughter, makes the full executive decision that Cozy, the heroine, is the one that she wants as her nanny. And Cozy has this mentality of, why do more when you could do nothing? She is basically like, just relax, life will happen, everything's good kind of vibe. She's just like, don't stress. And Max is like, what? But his daughter wants this nanny, and so they hire her, and Max becomes crazy possessive over the heroine Cozy. And my favorite moment was when Cozy comes in because she lives on the property. There's like a tiny house on the property, and she lives in the tiny house on the property. And there's one night where she is going out with a friend, and so she's super like glammed up, but she has to stop into the main house. And she walks into the main house, and the hero and all the hero's brothers, who are like lumberjacks, are all there. And the hero's brothers are like, who is this gorgeous woman? And Max is like, don't look at her. Because without even realizing it, he has started to become super possessive of Cozy, and it's so good. Really, really loved it. Love Amy Dawes. Then the last one I am going to mention is all of the Mulvaney siblings. This is from the Necessary Evil series by Onley James, and the Mulvaneys take Touch and Die to a whole new level because they are all psychopaths and serial killers. So if they actually stand by touch and you'll die, because they have no qualms about killing other people. And so these are all, like I said, psychopath and serial killer romances. The They're all also. The Mulvaneys are all the adopted children of Thomas Mulvaney, who is basically like an eccentric billionaire. He is a psychologist and he's doing this experiment on serial killers, and so he adopts a bunch of children with psychopathic tendency and raises them to be killers, but to only kill bad guys. And the Necessary Evil series is all each book is a different sibling finding their romance, and they all find their person, and they're all sort of find their own person, because they're psychopaths, so they don't really like feel love, but they know very quickly, they know which ones are theirs. And so once they find their person, they will do anything, and I mean anything, to keep that person safe, to keep that person happy, to keep that person from harm, and it's so good. They're so good. I have loved every single one of the books except book 1. I gave book 1 3 stars, and I've given all of the other books 4 stars or higher. I have given most of them 5 stars. Book 2, Psycho, and book 4, which is Headcase, are my favorites. They're just all so good, so great, and are incredibly possessive, protective, and crazy obsessive about their partners, and it's fantastic. That is the last ones that I have though, so that is the end of this video. I told you I had quite a few, so I'm sorry if this video is a little bit long, but I hope that you guys find a new alpha to read about. Please leave your recommendations for me in the comments below. I would love to find more of them, but that is going to be it for this video, so please like if you liked it, subscribe so you can see more content from me, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!